Hey guys, I want honest advice from the male perspective. Today, for the first time in my life, I tried to hit on a guy. I'm 28 years old and kind of a shy woman. I always met my boyfriends through friends. But I've been single for almost 2 years, and I decided to start dating again. I was waiting for the train, and while I was waiting, I noticed there was a guy checking me out. When the train arrived, I noticed he was waiting to see which carriage I would get into so that he could get in as well. Still not convinced if he was into me or not. Even though the train was not full and there were a few empty seats, I decided to stand, and he decided to stand next to me. It was a 45-minute trip, and although we were not in front of each other, I could see that from time to time he would look at me. When we got to the final destination, I decided to take my shot and approached him by saying, "I think you're really cute." He said thanks and then just stared at me for a few seconds. Since I didn't know what else to say, I told him goodbye and went my way. My friends always tell me that I can never tell when a guy is interested in me, so I want to know if maybe I read the signs wrong or if I should have been more direct in my approach. To be honest, I thought that by saying that I was already showing interest. Thanks in advance for all the help. Story 1. Men rarely receive compliments, so it catches us off guard when it happens. Considering how often women label men as creepy for looking, talking, or even being in proximity, you need to directly tell him if you're interested. We don't get hints. When we think you like us, you probably don't. When we think you don't like us, you might or might not. Story 2. Your best targets are the front of the neck, eyeballs, and maybe floating ribs if you have something hard you can hit him with. The crotch generally isn't as easy of a target as it seems unless his knees are apart far enough and you're confident you can get a hit in before he can reflexively block. Anything else probably isn't going to be effective. Or, introduce yourself and offer him your contact information or phone number too. Story 3. Hi. Just want to say you are really cute. Here is my phone number. Text me. I would love to buy you a cup of coffee. Yes, it's forward, but most men won't pick up that you are interested or won't be sure if you want them to make a move. This way, he knows when he follows up, he won't be rejected. Story 4. That's a normal response. I think if you're the one initiating, you should then continue the conversation. Ask him for his number, for example. Story 5. You did well and caught him off guard. However, by him just saying thanks and nothing more, it may mean he has someone in his life. Don't take it as a bad move on your part. It just wasn't meant to be. Try again with a different person. Story 6. You know what? If it means anything, I am so freaking proud of you. I hope I can get some of your courage. I wish you all the best. May you find the one soon. Story 7. You should watch men communicate with other men. We are generally not very good at it, probably because we don't tend to analyze it as closely as women seem to. It's more results-based than method-based. Two guys might not say a word but acknowledge each other's presence and move on politely. If something needs communicating, we'll probably just say it in as plain and few words as possible. For example, a woman might communicate that someone's fly is down by making eye contact and using body language to indicate the area, mouthing the words and trying to spare the person shame. A man will simply point at the crotch area and say, "Fly's down. Sounds like you did well." Be more painfully obvious, though. I'm proud of you. It takes guts to put yourself out there. Story 8. It's also possible the guy was nervous and didn't know what to say as a response. Most times, men don't have a clue about approaching these situations. If someone smiled and didn't feel too surprised at your initial opening, I think it's best to be more direct and ask if they would want to chat over coffee sometime. I know a lot of men would appreciate this direct approach. Men who are taken could just say they aren't available or interested. Story 9. On the train once, a young woman in a short skirt sat across from me. We said a quick hello, and she picked up a book. While reading, she occasionally parted her legs just enough to show me her underwear. She never made eye contact but appeared to be barely containing a smile. I'm not sure if she was interested in me or if she enjoyed the attention, but it was intriguing. I thanked her, and she actually said, "You're welcome." Then I went home to my wife. Story 10. It's a skill like anything else. It will take some practice. Try talking to guys you find somewhat cute. It doesn't have to be a deep conversation, but a little comment about your surroundings. Like, Nice day, right? Or even just smiling and saying hi. If you can maintain some eye contact, you'll impress most guys. It doesn't take much to connect with most regular people. It just takes practice and initiative. Let your feminine majesty radiate forth. Story 11. Yeah, you should have left the guy your phone number. He wasn't ready to banter with you or surprise you in return. Story 12. Approach him by saying, I think you're really cute. He said thanks and then just stared at me for a few seconds. I pictured this in my mind and I can't stop chuckling. Sounds like he was into you, and it's amazing you took the first step. Some men just don't get it when women hit on them, even though I thought that was an obvious social cue. Following up by offering your number is a good next step to avoid an awkward silence. At least you'll get an answer from him after. Story 13. You did the right thing. We live in an era where 80% of men were raised not to make the first move unless women make it absolutely clear that they want our attention. Story 14. Scroll through the subreddit 2X chromosomes and consider the stories there. Men have learned that it's not okay to approach women at work, on the train, at the gym, or pretty much anywhere. To be clear, this isn't a complaint. I understand there's a reason for it. The vast majority of men are still simple creatures. We very much want to talk to attractive women who are interested in us. A single genuine compliment from an attractive woman can keep us feeling great for months. However, this makes good men hesitant to engage with women they find attractive. The list of what not to do is so long that it's best to play it safe and wait for a clearer sign. Now it's on women to adapt their approach. You could take it slow and see if he asks you out in 6 months. Or you can be a 28-year-old independent woman and directly tell him you think he's attractive. And if he asks you to dinner, you'd say Thursday night is open. Because that kind of clarity will probably accelerate the relationship timeline compared to your previous boyfriend by about 90%. Story 15. My guess is he was completely astonished that you complimented him and would have given you his number if his brain started working properly. Story 16. Not gonna lie, it's pretty cool when a woman wants to know what we like and takes an interest. That, or you can be direct and funny with sincerity, of course. Just don't overthink it. Just be you. We love women who are themselves. Shy, awkward, confident, etc. As long as you are you, communicate that and say what you would like. Story 17. Godspeed, ma'am. Please understand that this is unusual, yet desperately needed. Many men may be confused or suspicious, but please don't be discouraged, because you are what many of us have been waiting for. Story 18. Love notes. I can't tell you how many times a girl wrote me a handwritten note saying something very cute that just won me over. It seems like some little kid stuff, but I have kept all the love notes I've ever received. I have about 4 or 5 shoeboxes full of little notes. It really hits different, I'm telling you. It never failed me. Story 19. Men are basic, we don't get hints. Just say, hi, my name is... Name. I think you're cute. Would you like to get a coffee or lunch? I think that would work well for most men. Story 20. I was in typing class in high school, either junior or senior year. I was the only guy in the class. Needless to say, there were lots of cute girls there. One time, a girl from a table nearby walked behind me, sniffed my hair and said, "It smells really good." I was anxious when she ran her fingers through my hair from behind, getting a full nasal cavity of herbal essence. Then she moaned out loud. 2 or 3 other girls came by and did the same. I was in sensory overload. The teacher entered the room and all nonsense ended. I sat there with a blushing face. Story 21. If you just didn't know what to say, maybe he didn't know either. Maybe he was afraid of misunderstanding your intentions. Perhaps he's in a relationship or regretting not having something to say. That was a perfect opener, though. A quick, "I have to go, but could we chat later? Would you like my number?" might have helped. Story 22. Chances are high that he's just very shy and didn't know how to react. Men don't receive direct attention like that often because women play games. If he kept looking at you, he was interested in you. Story 23. You did the right thing, you just didn't follow through and ask for his number or something. Hitting on guys is absurdly easy. Just give us a compliment and express interest, and that's about it. Guys get so few compliments that many of us will immediately suspect that you're interested in us or it's a trap. Story 24. After all this advice, it will be really funny if the guy in question made a post on Ask Women about his strange encounter with a woman on public transit who complimented him on his looks, wondering what getting complimented feels like and if he really lost a chance at meeting and knowing someone interesting. Be on the lookout on these forums. You never know where one might bump into people these days. Story 25. I decided to take my shot and approach him by saying, "I think you're really cute." He said thanks and then just stared at me for a few seconds. Since I didn't know what else to say, I told him goodbye and went my way. I would have loved to have seen this in person. Sounds absolutely hilarious. Just two super awkward people trying to have a normal interaction. Story 26. Just say, "Hi, I don't normally do this, but I think you're cute and I'd like to give you my number. If I don't hear from you in the next hour or so, I'll assume you're not interested or have a girlfriend. Balls in your court. Have a great day, handsome." Story 27. You didn't hit on him. You paid him a compliment and were expecting him to do the rest of the work. He did what I would expect most men to do, accept the compliment and move on. If you wanted to get something out of it, you need to either get to the point of getting a number or make plans for a date. Still, good effort. Keep it up. Story 28. I would just say, "Hey, I think you're cute and we should go out sometime," and ask for their number. I think most guys would be fine with that. Story 29. The problem is, as with most girls, you initiate contact and then leave it up to the guy to continue, which I'm sure is how he felt. I've been there a few times before. You should have been straightforward or just asked for his number or Instagram. Story 30. As a woman, the best thing you can do is make eye contact, smile, and feel comfortable near him. For most men, this would mean they might start a conversation if interested, and you don't have to face rejection as you're not doing the actual approaching. This worked well for a long time. Unfortunately, modern feminism, the Me Too movement, and social media have caused more young men to avoid approaching women, even when they receive clear signals. This is due to fear of being labeled creepy, shamed on social media, or, at worst, reported for harassment. So, it doesn't work as well as it used to, but it's still the best option. Story 31. You could have followed up with, "I think you're really cute. Are you free to hang out sometime?" His response to that would have let you know if he was interested. Story 32. Even if I'm totally single, I will still be speechless because it's completely unexpected. I occasionally receive compliments from friends or colleagues, and I'm still scared to assume they're interested in me. Next time, probably open with a question like, "I think you're really cute. Do you always take this train?" It will make it easier for him to respond. If it turns out he's not single, you can catch a different carriage or an earlier train. Story 33. The whole hovering nearby and dropping 50 body cues you learned from a Cosmopolitan magazine doesn't work. Strike up small talk and check for receptiveness. This is 2024. Women can hit on men, but you can't be clueless about it. No offense meant. Story 34. One of the girls I'm seeing right now teases me playfully about things. For instance, I'm very into golf. I wear golf apparel, talk about it with my friends, and she sometimes comes with me and rides in the cart. The other day we were on the course and I was playing poorly, which isn't new. She said, "Wow, golf is your personality, yet you still aren't good at it," as I was getting ready to tee off. It instantly made me laugh, and I looked over to the cart, and she had this beautiful smile on her face. It was funny, and my buddies laughed as well. This is new to me because usually I'm the one making jokes about others, and she keeps my attention because she's witty and funny. So, I guess maybe try making a joke about something to a guy you think is cute. Could be about anything, but we definitely all appreciate humor. Compliments throw me off. I never know what to say or how to respond or where to put my hands. It instantly makes me awkward, and I get tunnel vision and feel like I could pass out. Story 35. He may have been in shock. Like you, he may have been shy and didn't know what to do. Maybe next time, try asking if you can have his number. That way, later you can call and start a conversation. Story 36. Good work, but I think you could add a line or two like, "I think you were really cute. Can I get your number?" As simple as that. Story 37. If you compliment men, Be prepared for their brain to switch off. It's like short-circuiting. It's better, I would think, to make small talk and hint that you're around the area and eventually try to exchange contact information. Story 38. We almost never receive compliments, so when we do, we process them as they are. Believe it or not, most guys don't automatically switch to flirt mode or think someone is hitting on them when given compliments. This is to avoid being accused of being a creep by assuming, something men naturally have to do, like making assumptions, false comparisons, and playful teasing, which all involve assuming attraction to flirt effectively. Hence the disconnect and why we are where we are today. We've often heard that women might just want to give a compliment without necessarily hitting on you, which is another thing that confuses men. The only thing you could have done to fully snap him out of those states would be saying your name, asking for his, and then using his name. Should we exchange numbers, Snapchat, or Instagram? Story 39. In some countries, staring at someone for too long could mean they want to engage sexually with you. Story 40. He was probably shocked and froze. Next time, try adding, "Would you like to grab a coffee?" Then he's put in a position to accept or decline, but at least neither would be left hanging. My most notable encounter where a woman hit on me was as a late teenager in a club, where she tapped me on the shoulder and then punched me in the gut to tell me she was taking me home. This was in the 80s, so it was an accepted form for girls in Scotland. Story 41. Walk up to a guy, ask to hold his hand, and ask where he's going. Then go there together. Maybe even tell him that it's okay. Don't worry so much. He will be worrying, so even if you don't see it, it will make you seem in control. Make sure to check in and tell him that he's doing well. Then give him your phone number, preferably on a piece of paper. Smile and wave goodbye. You can get any single guy with this trick. Whether they stick for an entire relationship is a different matter. Definitely start every date with this energy though. Men are often the ones putting forth that effort, controlling things, making sure you enjoy yourself. If you flip it on its head and you plan the dates, pick him up, pay for things, pull his chair out, and ask him how he's doing, he might marry you on the spot. Men are easy to win over, but dense as bricks. If a man is available and finds you moderately attractive, you'll score him. But you have to tell him that you want him. Explicitly state, "I'm romantically interested in you. Let's go on a date sometime," or something to that effect. Story 42. There are a couple of things that may be going on here. The most likely is that he wasn't prepared and possibly didn't know how to respond in a public place. Next time, take it one step further. So why don't we swap numbers and go for coffee? Don't just invite him to ask you out. Actually ask him out. I encounter this frequently in my relationships. My partner won't initiate intimacy. She invites me to initiate. My partner won't plan a date. She invites me to plan one. My partner won't offer me care and support. She invites me to offer it to her. My partner won't ask me out. She invites me to ask her out. Story 43. You made a good move. He was not aware of that, which was his fault. In your case, I have two options according to his behavior for next time. 1. If you see him as an introverted or shy guy but interested in you, talk about neutral topics such as the weather, the fullness or emptiness of the train, or the views. Let him reply and change the topic if necessary. If you notice him as an extroverted or talkative man but interested in you, talk about more personal or flirty topics such as the workplace, your train routines, or your and his clothing or hair. Look into his eyes. If you try one of these options and he is not interested in you, finish your talk with a smile and do other things. Story 44. You did it well. I bet he was just speechless and will spend many days feeling empty for not acting as a man. Story 45. Next time you see him, tell him you're going to get something to eat or drink, smile, and ask if he wants to join you. I have never turned down a beer from a beautiful lady. Story 46. Well, fair play on making the first move. I'm sure it won't take much effort to find a guy who reciprocates. Story 47. For me, you literally have to talk to me and maybe touch my shoulder or something, or give me your number, something very clear. Story 48. A good line to remember. Why don't we get together for a cup of coffee and a talk sometime? It's a quick and casual way to connect with someone and see if it is worth taking the next step. If there is no chemistry or interest, the meetup is quick, and you will soon be out of there. Story 49. I think he was waiting for you to say something else. He was probably interested in you. He'll be on the same train at the same time for a few weeks, hoping to see you again if you want to try to ask him out this time. I'm sure he's regretting not asking you out, but he was probably caught off guard by the compliment. Story 50. If you don't spell it out that you're interested in the guy, he's not going to know and not going to say anything. The majority of guys out there are not mind readers. We don't get hints. Also, since many women have gone on TikTok and YouTube complaining about men hitting on them, most guys will ignore women because we aren't looking to get a sexual harassment charge slapped on us. If you want to hit on a guy, then actively go and talk to him and tell him that you're interested. If you don't spell it out, he's going to keep walking and you'll lose out. Story 51. Hey, you're cute. Let me get your number. 99% success rate. I'll take a guy's number because I feel so honored. If you're at the gym, smile and get on the treadmill next to him. Then repeat the line. It's literally the easiest thing for women to do. Story 52. Maybe next time, say what you said and share what you think about grabbing a coffee. Simple and easy. Story 53. The thing about girls giving us compliments is that many of us guys have misread a compliment as romantic interest in the past, leading to awkward situations when the girl later revealed she was just being friendly. So now a lot of us are on guard about it and take a compliment from a girl as simply being nice, rather than her wanting to date. If you want to make a guy know you are interested, you have to be more clear about it. Don't play the game of dropping hints. It's a waste of everyone's time. Story 54. Just start a random conversation and see where it goes. Guys are smart enough to know this indicates possible interest. Story 55. Be really obvious. And when it doesn't exactly go over well the first time, be obvious one more time, because guys are bad at reading signs. I have stories. Honestly, I'll say this, when I was doing online dating, the easiest experiences I had were when the woman initiated, because it goes through the vetting process that ensures I'm not a huge freaky weirdo or serial killer. Story 56. I often get compliments since I grew out my beard. I didn't have a large beard before, and I never received compliments, so I'm pretty sure they really just like the beard. I also lost a lot of weight. I'll never know for sure because I only understand a direct approach. You have to be direct. I feel like this is true for more shy, nerdy types. This might be an overgeneralization, but being a shy, nerdy type, this is how I feel. Story 57. Your next move after saying he was cute should have been to make some sort of small talk, like asking if he rides this train often or where he is headed. Then ask if he would be interested in getting lunch sometime and end it by asking for his number to set everything up. You don't want to talk for too long. Just get in and get out. Story 58. You waited 45 minutes and then spoke 4 or 5 words to him. And you expected him to react in a positive way to engage with you? You have unmet expectations. Take this piece of Buddhist wisdom to heart. Expectation is the root of all pain. Story 59. If it started with a compliment and continued with a genuine interest in me and my personal life, it would be clear to me. Story 60. If a girl did that to me, I would assume I'm about to be mugged or have my organs stolen. It's possible he was too surprised to say much else. Story 61. If you're trying to open a door, you don't just turn the knob and wait for someone else to push it open for you. You push it open yourself. Don't just turn the knob and tell the guy he's cute. Push the door open and ask him out. Story 62. Just act confused, laugh, smile, play with your hair, look into his eyes, and give an excuse to get his number. Story 63. That's pretty direct for a woman. He might have a girlfriend and just thinks you're pretty, but I would caution against being too direct. Just introduce yourself and see if you can get to know him. Maybe he's pretty, but also pretty boring or pretty creepy once you get to know him. If you catch a vibe and he's single, just straight up ask him to hang out. Story 64. Follow up a compliment with an "Are you single?" If they are, ask for their number and tell them you would like to meet up for coffee or something soon. Story 65. 2 of my girlfriends just direct messaged me something like, "I like you. Can we get to know each other?" And we had a relationship afterward. Straight to the point, pretty direct and open. I also had a few others texting me something not so direct, and I decided not to respond because I actually like a direct approach and don't like playing games. Story 66. He probably just panicked in a situation he didn't expect. You have to be very direct, asking him for his number or something similar. Just don't sound like you are trying to deceive him, and it will be okay. Story 67. I've been hit on before, only to realize hours or even days later, oh, I think I missed it. It's ingrained in some people, myself included, that a woman might not be interested in being approached at work or while traveling because she likely deals with that often. I'd actually need her to be direct and say, I am hitting on you. In all honesty, you could have followed up with, here's my number if you would like to get to know me more. It's pretty obvious and gives him the option without pressure. Story 68. Men communicate directly, and we need clear communication to understand what's being conveyed. We don't feel offended by direct communication. If you're using coy, flirtatious hints, we might understand or we might not, but often we see that you might like us. However, we're not sure enough to make a move. This threshold has increased significantly because of the Me Too movement. Men have to be 99% certain that you like us before we will flirt back now. You have to lay your cards on the table with men. Don't bother flirting. Just come right out and say you want to go on a date with us. You will get the results you want only from that approach. Story 69. You should follow that compliment with something like, would you like to grab coffee sometime? If they say yes, maybe exchange numbers. Story 70. If a girl came up to me and said I looked nice and asked for my name, I think I would immediately start thinking about our life together. Story 71. Reading posts from women asking men how to approach men is like hearing a billionaire ask me the best way to gift random strangers on the street $5 million. It's like, are you rubbing it in my face? I'm kind of struggling here. I'm half joking, but yeah, like others mentioned, compliments are great icebreakers, and it's best to be direct. Story 72. Well, 45 minutes is a long time, and you are getting off at your stop. Start the conversation earlier, for example, I see you glancing at me. Is this your usual bus or train? Let him recover from the shock of being noticed. Then, at the stop, punch your digits into his phone. Easy. Story 73. Most guys are going to assume you are being nice. They do that because most of the time they get turned down. That was a good start, but your number or a social media link would have clarified things. You may not be comfortable giving that out to even a cute stranger, which makes perfect sense, but there has to be some way for you two to connect. Had there been more time for a conversation, more information could have been exchanged. Story 74. I'm a dude who's really dense. Get his number and ask him out. Otherwise, we'll assume you're not interested. Story 75. You want to keep the progress going if you're interested. This is not gender-specific advice. Engage in small talk about obvious observations. If he's on the train, ask where he's going or if he takes the train frequently. Make an observation about something he's wearing or has with him. If he's a good conversationalist, he'll push the conversation along. However, you might have to lead it. If he's interested, you could try exchanging phone numbers or planning something. He'll agree if he wants to. If you're specifically looking to flirt, try pointing out what makes him cute. Does he have big muscular arms? You probably don't want to come on too strong, but make a light or humorous observation like, wow, nice arms, you must work out, or thanks for the gun show. Story 76. Men are often unaware. The only time I actually realized a woman was interested in me, we ended up married 11 years later with a child. Just tell him. Story 77. Almost all of the men I've worked with are already married. About 10% of the women I've worked with were married at most. I would say the single men are either at home, unemployed, or in work-from-home roles. I just don't meet many single men at all. Single women are absolutely everywhere. I think most women are pretty much stuck with online dating since most men who are able and employed are already married. Story 78. Step 1. Start a conversation and show that you're open to being approached. You can say, hey, where are you headed? Or, are you coming from work? With a smile and engaging body language. For this to work, you need to be able to carry a conversation. Have a few questions ready, so if he responds initially with a one-word answer, you have a direction to go. If he continues answering with one word, he's not interested in talking. Move on. Step 2. Include some compliments in the conversation. Compliments can be impactful, but sometimes people don't know how to respond to them. You might just get a thanks or an awkward you too. Compliments woven into the conversation indicate that she enjoys engaging with me and finds me attractive in some way. During the conversation, you could say, "Do you get told you're cute a lot? Or do people just keep that to themselves?" Step 3. Let me know you want to continue the conversation and give us a chance to intentionally get to know each other. You could say, "This was fun. I'm glad I ended up taking this train. Do you want to continue this over dinner or drinks? Let me get your number. I'll text you to set something up. I really hope to see you again." Taking the lead avoids issues like him second-guessing himself or hesitating to ask you out. Assuming I was single, thought you were cute, and felt we had some chemistry in our conversation, this approach would definitely work on me. Story 79. Where are girls like you? When I check someone out, they immediately give me a reaction that makes me feel super weird, like I am out there to get them. I don't like saying this, but I have a cute face, and I am still not sure why. I asked my female friends the same thing, and they say I am thinking too much. What should I do? Story 80. All you had to do was hand him a piece of paper with your phone number on it after saying that, and you would have been right. Story 81. That was an awesome start. Congratulations. Next time, continue with something like, "Want to go for a coffee?" Story 82. Something similar happened to me in college, and I still think about how I froze up and blew it. That brother is going to be on that train for the next month. Story 83. It was a sweet thing you did. Probably made someone's day. Don't worry about the result and keep doing this. We need more people like you. Story 84. A woman my age hit on me in a grocery store. She asked me to get an item on the top shelf, then thanked me several times, mentioning how she depends on tall people to get items she can't reach. She asked if it happens to me often. Soon we were chatting and joking. She said she enjoyed talking with me and thanked me again. Then we exchanged phone numbers and agreed to meet again. Story 85. I don't know about the younger folks, but as a Generation Z, we were raised in a time emphasizing phrases like no means no and taught to give women space and respect. We learned that just because a girl smiles at you, she's not necessarily interested. It was all good and appropriate, but, while right, it was often a knee-jerk reaction to tone down boys. I think it went too far. We taught boys how to scale back, but girls were never taught how to fill the void left by men being more respectful. They still aren't to this day. Movements like Me Too can be detrimental because respectful and aware men tend to not want to impose and pull back even more. Men who never cared about a woman's feelings aren't moved by these movements and will continue to act inappropriately, widening the gap between good and bad behavior. My wife had to make the first move because I cared for her and didn't want to impose or make her uncomfortable. It frustrated her for a long time until she decided to take action. I'd say this: approach a guy in the way you would want to be approached. "Hi, my name is insert name. I'd like to buy you a coffee and spend some time getting to know you better. Here's my number. If you're interested, text me, and we can set up a time." Story 86. Acknowledge their existence. Smile at them. Tell him short, flirty, or funny remarks. Compliment them. If he doesn't, open a conversation. Speak to them like a human being. Allow them to speak. Let them make remarks on your looks. Let him, in a flirting way, make fun of you. Be sweet, nice, and funny. Acknowledge their abilities. Allow yourself to be vulnerable around him. Be kind of forward. If he doesn't ask for your number or Instagram, you can ask for it too. Follow up from there. Story 87. Next time, you can tell a guy, "I think you're really cute," and then add, "If I can get your number, I'll tell you what else I think." Add something to your approach to confirm that you might be interested in meeting up later. Story 88. If you said to me, "I think you're cute," I would definitely laugh, but I would engage in a conversation with you, especially if I'm on the train. Story 89. A couple of years ago, a cute girl sat down next to me and said, I want to be with you. 10 minutes later, we were together in the grass. Story 90. Hi there. I think it was really brave of you, given that our society is not accustomed to women initiating and also that you are shy. I also think it was straightforward. It wasn't just a random compliment on his outfit, so he should have understood your intentions with this compliment. Maybe he was surprised, as many people said, but he could have simply returned the compliment to engage in the conversation, like saying, "Thanks, you too." Giving him your number and saying something like, "You can text me if you'd like," would have been more direct, but it's up to you and what you're comfortable with. I do think it would have been his turn to show interest, though. You made a first, clear move, in my opinion, and it is his responsibility to overcome the surprise or shyness to confirm his interest in return. This would also have confirmed whether or not you misunderstood the situation and if you are making him uncomfortable before continuing or being more straightforward. Congratulations on that move, though. Keep it up. Story 91. Just be open and honest. Men can be dense, and it's extremely rare for a girl to give compliments. So just say, "I think you're attractive, and I like you." Story 92. I like that you didn't instantly approach him but quietly observed him for a while. You gave him plenty of opportunities to make the first move, but ultimately it was you who took the initiative, and I think you did fine. His loss. Don't second-guess yourself. Story 93. I'll tell you what not to do from personal experience I had with a woman on a train. Don't tell them that someone got stabbed right outside her place. Then follow with asking whether the person is interested in joining a party at her place. Story 94. In my experience, the best way to break the ice in that situation, whether they are of the opposite sex or not, is to just start a conversation. I'm a pretty shy guy myself, but a few weeks ago on a train, I hit it off with a couple of other passengers just chatting about where we're headed and who we're visiting. It's as easy as giving them a little nod and asking, "Headed to Chicago?" If it's someone you'd like to get to know better, make some small talk here and there and get to know them a bit. Eventually, just say, "Hey, you're really cute. I'd love to grab a cup of coffee sometime if you'd like." Want to exchange phone numbers? The advantage of small talk first is that it can help you determine if they're taken, if they mention being married, for example, and if they're interested, in which case the conversation should flow pretty easily after a while. Keep your head up and stay optimistic. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Story 95. Hey, what's your name? Nice to meet you. My name is X. Where are you from? What have you been doing today? What are you doing tomorrow? I am going to X tomorrow. You should come. What is your Instagram? I want to follow you and send you the details. Get Instagram. Oh, and you are cute. Thank you, goodbye. Story 96. I only receive compliments like, "You look nice today," from sex workers on the street when I'm going home from work or shopping. Story 97. You need to follow that up with something. That may have been the first compliment that man ever received. He had no idea how to follow up. In almost 40 years, I've received 2 compliments. The first time, I had to ask if she was making a pass at me. You did well by approaching him and telling him he was cute, but you should have either offered your number or asked for his. Story 98. I am always really impressed when a woman is confident but classy. It has worked every time. Simple gestures like just writing her number down and giving it to me, or saying, "You should take my number." Love that. Most guys might feel a little awkward when a woman is direct, so expect that. You may need to be clear. "I think you're cute. We should exchange numbers." Story 99. Good first step. You could have followed up with, "Would you like to hang out sometime?" After some small talk. He might not have noticed it as an attempt at flirting, or he might have just subtly declined. Story 100. Done well but incomplete. You should have asked for his number or suggested that you both get off the train to get a coffee and talk. Unless married or in a committed relationship, he would have accepted. Story 101. Literally say anything and a guy will have his whole week made. I'm a conveniently attractive male, I'd say. Solid 7 to 8 out of 10 on most scales of women. I've dated attractive women. I've gotten maybe 5 to 7 offhand compliments from women, most of them being due to my tattoos. I remember almost all of them to this day. Story 102. Personally, I think in order to avoid all the pitfalls mentioned here, You're better off with a better opener. Ask him about something he's wearing. Ask him for help, directions, or something. We love to help people, especially cute girls. Ask him where he's headed. Then, if or when he responds, touch him lightly on the arm while making eye contact. If that doesn't elicit a response, he's either not interested in a relationship or completely insecure and clueless, and not worth your time. Story 103. I think you are really cute would have been all the signal I needed. I would have turned into the super charmer, but that's just me. Girls already don't take the initiative, but giving me a simple compliment would be all I need to lead the conversation. Story 104. Okay, real talk, listen up. Let's say you're in a Target or Walmart and you see a guy who catches your attention. First, have a big smile on your face and maintain eye contact with him for at least 3 seconds. Twirl your hair and slowly make your way over to him, or smile and wave at him, beckoning him to come over to you. Introduce yourselves, tell him that you noticed him from over there, and ask if he finds you attractive or if he's single. Ask him if he could give you his number and see if he wants to hang out sometime or go on a date, using your most confident and feminine tone. From a man's perspective, in my opinion, hope this helps. Story 105. I would say that he was too shy to begin with, or else he would have said something to you during the 45-minute train ride. But he didn't. When you said, "I think you're really cute," he was absolutely flabbergasted that someone was interested in him and had the confidence to say it. Next time you see an attractive guy, strike up the conversation with grace and ease, and more importantly, while you both have the time to break the ice and see if you're still interested after a hopefully easy conversation. Story 106. I assume he was still processing what's happening and what his response should be when you left. Not exactly a common occurrence. Story 107. At some point, mention that you find him attractive or he will never figure out why you actually talked to him. Other than that, you can do whatever. Story 108. Tell him you like him, give him your number, and ask him out on a date. Guys have been doing this for years, so I doubt you will be rejected as much as men have. Story 109. If you told him you think he's cute and he was actually interested and he didn't make a move, that is completely on him and not on you. Likely, he's either in a relationship and just looking, or he didn't have the confidence to express himself. If I were single, interested, and in that situation, the moment you turned to walk away would have been a great time to find a way to continue communicating, even if it was through email. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.